What's up, everybody? It's Jason with HOJ Forge today, working on another Damascus knife out of Jeep leaf spring and 1080 steel and 15N20 steel, and integrated bolsters on this one. I've been dying to try these. They look so cool. That's bolsters, that little metal piece that goes right in front of the handle. If you have them, not all knives do. In fact, I'd say most of them don't. But when they have them and it's metal, that's called a bolster. And this is, instead of separate pieces of metal coming in and being sandwiched like that, this is all integrated together. The blade and the bolsters are one piece of steel. Couple of different ways that I can think of on how to get there. Easiest is to mill it on a milling machine. I don't have one, so I'm going to have to do it all by hand. I'm going to try and forge most of it, and then it's going to take some grinding and some file work to get it to fit just right, I think. If it works at all, we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm still extremely new to this whole knife making world, especially when you look at some of the other YouTube videos out there of the guys that have been doing it for years and are just, oh my gosh, they're so good at this. And I just drool over the knives they make. And, you know, I'm doing this for fun, and sure, I'm selling them and making a couple of bucks, but they're good. I'm just a hack. Much like fixing up my Jeep. I'm just a hack mechanic. I'm a hack blacksmith. Let's go make a knife. Alright, before we get there, just a reminder that I did sign up for a Patreon account. I'll put a link up here in the corner if you want to donate and help out. I do have some like, give a certain level and I'll send you stuff that I forge. Knives even. So go check that out if you would. And help out if you can. If you can't, well, hey, don't worry about it. I'm making the videos anyways, and I'll make them as often as I can with you know, some more financial help from the YouTube videos themselves, i.e. through Patreon. I'll be able to do them more often. The problem is real life and real job gets in the way. I've got to go make a living to feed my family, and you know, I can only make the videos sparingly in my spare time. So if I was making more money from them, I'd be able to make more videos. You get it. You know it. If you want to help, help. If you don't, you'll get the videos as often as they come, which is as often as I can do it. And yeah, let's get to the knife over here. Alright, so I cut out all the boring part of just cutting the metal and welding it together, but what I've got is 3 separate billets. 2 of them are made up of the leaf springs and 15N20, which is the high nickel steel, and then I've got one of 1080 and 15N20. And if it works the way I think it's going to work, I should wind up with 361 layers in a sand my blade with the pattern, like layers of the pattern, one going sideways, one going the other. Hard to explain. I know what it's doing in my head. I'll see if I can get there, but this is a lot of forge welding and stretching out and blah blah blah. So let me get the forge fired up and we'll get to it. Alright, so I'm doing the billets one at a time here. You could try doing it if you're doing more than one. You could try heating one while you're hammering the other. It's a real good way to lose track and burn some steel, which, although I'm using Jeep leaf springs that I pulled off my Jeep, I'm also using 15N20, which I bought and paid for, so trying not to waste any material. So doing one at a time, I've just got it sitting in there now. The fire's just about ready. The forge is just about heated up. So I've got it sitting in here. One of them just gathering some heat. We want it to heat up slowly and evenly. If you heat it too fast, you'll see the outside layers start getting orangish, and the inside layers are still going, hey, I want some heat. But anyways, so we're going to heat it up slowly for the first one. For the flux, I just use borax that you get in the laundry aisle. I don't know if this is the best way to do it. I'm just a hobby blacksmith that likes making Damascus knives. I'm really a Jeep guy, so hopefully it's helping you out, but I'm sorry if it isn't. I also got asked about the hammer I use. This is just it's a 4-pound sledge, I think. I think I got it at Harbor Freight. But anyways, I was contemplating getting a rounding hammer, which has a round surface, or a rounder surface on one side and then a flatter surface on the other side. And to get one professionally made by a decent blacksmith can be quite pricey, so I just wanted to see if that was what I wanted to do. And this has been working so well, and I've had to regrind the faces once, but I figured I'd just keep doing it until it was done, and then maybe I'll invest in a real one. But yeah, that's my hammer. I've also got cross pins and the usual assortment of things. Found this one at a flea market. That was my first hammer. Still use it a lot, but those are my hammers. So here you can see the edges wanting to heat up more than the middle. So we're just going to take it out there, let it cool down for a second, get a little more even, and then heat it up again slowly. Once it starts getting orange, then we're going to flux it and get it up to welding temp. Okay, so it's a nice orange color. I'm going to put some flux on it. So I'm not setting any welds, I'm just tapping the layers together to get everything seated nice and firmly. Gonna brush off this flux that's on the outside and put some more on, and now we're gonna crank the heat up and get it up to forge welding temperatures. I like to do 4 welding heats. I don't know if it's right or wrong again. I know a lot of videos I've watched say 3 work. Some professionals probably get away with 2, but I've always done 4 and it's worked for all my knives. I'll start working the sides, because if anything is going to come apart, banging on the sides of it is what will tell you. What I'm doing is looking for signs that one layer is cooling faster than another layer, and I'm not seeing it, so I think we have a decent weld. Alright, so there's billet number 1. I'll wait for this to cool down, cut it into 3 sections, grind it all smooth, and then put those 3 sections together, and that'll give me 33 layers for this one. I'm going to go ahead and do the next ones, but it's going to be more of the same, so I'll catch up with you when I'm ready to work on this one. So, I forgot to run the video camera while I was doing it, but I drew the other billet out, and then ground them all the sides smooth, well, the sides that are getting forge welded together, and then I layered another piece of 15 and 20 in there between them, because the leaf springs don't like to forge weld to themselves, and I put a layer of 15 and 20 on the outsides, but with what you lose in the forge scale and with the grinding, I'm not sure there was any left, so I just put another little piece in between to make sure that they went together. So I've got 2 of those. So these are each going to be 33, 34, 35 layers. And then this is the one that was the 1080 and 15 and 20. And I just folded that over on top of itself. And yeah, I'm going to do something special with this one when I put the billet together. We're doing this one on the side, so all the layers can be seen from the side. And yeah, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along, but I still think it's going to be pretty cool. So let's get to forge welding these. Same thing as before, just tapping these together. Right back in the fire. I'm trying to draw this one out to 9 inches. The other one's going to be 6 inches on its side. I don't know if we're going to get there on the 9 inches, but fingers crossed. 8 3/4, I'll take it. Just gonna clean the face up now, less grinding later. Okay, so that billet's done. Yeah, I'm gonna go forge weld the second one, but I've only got to get that one out to 6 inches, and I'm doing that one on its side, so when I layer them together, some are flat, some are on the side, and it should give me a pretty cool effect. But I'll get back with you when I'm ready to forge weld that whole thing together. Whew! What a workout! So here's the final billet for the sides of the San Mai blade. I just did the math, and this is 169 layers. Gonna stretch this out, fold it in half on both sides of the San Mai blade, or fold it in half and put it around this one. So this is 28, 169 times 2 would be what, 240, 238 plus 28. It's a bunch. Ready for the final construction. This is from the big billet that I've been working on. That and that. I drew it out to 8 inches and cut it in half and ground the sides down so it was nice and clean. This is that 1080 15N20 28 layer billet that I made, and that's going to be the center of the San Mai. Got to be careful with this one because it came out of the forge not too long ago and it's pretty hot still. That's gonna be the final knife. So let me get this done up here and weld it up and get a handle on it, and we'll get back to forging. So here we go, final forge weld on this knife, I hope. Once again, heating it up slowly. We'll wait till it starts turning orange and then put some flux on it and then crank the heat and get it up to welding temp. You've already seen me do this, so I will get back to you when we start shaping the knife. Okay, so now we come to kind of a scary part for me, because I got it down to about the thickness I want for the integrated bolsters. So now I've got to see if I can use this swage I made, or a fuller I made, to start, I'm scared. Go, get it. Okay, so time to test out the tool I made. I was going to make this into a spring fuller so that the halves held together, but I wanted to be able to line it up better, so I'm just putting the knife in, putting the other half on top, and smacking it with a hammer. Once in a while it goes bouncing, but we're getting there. Well, the tool broke, but it got me most of the way there. Pretty happy with it. I just, one of my welds came loose, and so I'll have to do a little tweaking to it, but I think it'll work for future projects. Already worked for this one. So now I'm just going to draw the tang out a little more. that'll go. Alright, tang's done, so we're going to go ahead and start stretching out the blade. I haven't really given design much thought on this blade. I've been so worried about the integrated bolsters, so we'll just kind of see where it goes and have some fun with it. Well, there we go. It's going to be sort of a drop point hunter. It's about 10.5 inches. It might be a little big for a hunter, but I'm going to do the final tip on it on the grinder. I don't know. I was just worried about screwing things up, and I left it quite thick so that I can grind it down, because right in there, it's close to lining up, but it's not perfect. I'm going to have to take, 1/16 of an inch off one side of the blade, and but we'll get it. I think, I'm pretty sure it's going to come out a lot like I was picturing in my head, so I'm real excited about that. So going to do the rest on the grinder, and let's get to that. Well, here she is for now. I just took a file into the bolster area just to square those up. Took a lot of grinding, and it's probably going to take a little bit more before it's done. But I think I'm going to do all the bolster parts, getting those even with the files, because I just don't trust myself with the belt sander. You know, one little bzz, and you're in a world of hurt. So I might do all this part here with the files. In fact, I'm pretty sure I am. But we'll keep going, see where we can get. Well, I thought I had pushed the record button when I was grinding the bevels in, but I didn't. Forgot. So bevels are ground, and now I'm going to do a little cleaning up around the bolsters with some sandpaper, and actually do quite a bit of sanding before I heat treat it, just so the metal's a little softer and stuff. So gonna play around with this, and then drill some holes in the tang, and then we'll get to the heat treating. For this part, I'm just taking a strip of sanding belt and wrapping it around something that has about the radius I want, which happens to be a Sharpie. Alright, so that's cleaned up a little bit. I took it down to 400, just right in here, and just to make sure it cleaned up right and everything. And then, I mean, once we heat treat it, it's going to get more gunk on it and have to be cleaned up again. But I think I'm just about ready to heat treat this puppy. So I'm going to drill some holes for the handle scales, and got to measure those out and drill those, and then we'll go normalize it and heat treat it. So fire it up the forge, and as soon as that's ready, we'll get going here. So the first thing I'm going to do is normalize it, to where I heat it up to critical, well, beyond critical, at 100 degrees or so, and then let it cool, and then heat it up again, a little bit less and a little bit less each time. And hopefully that'll prevent the blade from warping. So, gonna do that, and then we'll quench it. Okay, so once again, the real test. File, blade. She's skating nicely, which means she hardened up just fine. And as a test, I never hardened the tang, and I know you can't hear the difference on the video, but there's a big difference. So, pretty happy. You can already, I don't know if it's coming through on the video, but you can already see some of the pattern. Let's see if I can get it. I don't know. It's probably not going to show up, but once we etch it, it'll look really cool. So, I'm going to go throw this in the oven at 400 for a couple hours, 2 1-hour cycles, and temper it, and then we'll finish it and make the handle, and woohoo! I'm getting psyched, man. Well, here it is after tempering. So we're going to clean it up now, and I'm just going to reestablish the bevels. I'm going to move to a 120 grit belt on the sander, and then we'll go up from there. And then lots of hand sanding. We'll get it all cleaned up, and then we'll be ready to make some handles. I've lost count of how many hours I've put in sanding this thing and how much sandpaper I've gone through. And I'm still not done. The hand sanding is a big old job, so gonna keep going. Oh, let me show you this. So before I started sanding, I took some of this, I don't know if it's coming through on the camera, but it's well, what do they call it? Bird's eye maple and some walnut, and put it together like that. So knife's gonna start right about here and go down, and that's gonna be the handle, is the bird's eye maple with the walnut. I think that's gonna be pretty cool. Alright, back to sanding. Well, literally 3 days later, there she is, all shined up and ready to go. So the next step, normally this is where I'd etch it, but with these integrated bolsters, I think I'm going to fit the handle first and grind it down, so that way, at least the front part of the handle, so that way if I nip the bolster, I'll be able to clean it up before I etch it. So let's fit some handle scales, and yeah, we'll keep going. Okay, so that's how she's gonna look when she's all done. I think it looks pretty cool. So now I want to shape just in here
where it meets the bolsters. And I'll probably do that by hand with a rasp, I think, just so I'm sure I don't gouge up that too badly. So let's do that. Well, I'm having second thoughts because the handle, without it being epoxied down, is moving just a tiny bit. So I'm thinking I may just epoxy it on now and then tape it off when I go to etch it. If you tape it well enough, you shouldn't have any problems with ferric chloride interacting with the wood or anything. So I've read, so I hope. So that's the way I'm going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and epoxy this on. Nothing special about that. I'm not going to tape it. And from there, I'll etch it, and we'll go from there. Alright, I think the rest is going to be done by hand, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with how she's coming out. So I'm going to do some hand sanding, and then we'll try the etch. Alright, well, there's the handle. And I think I'm going to go ahead and put the oil on and get it finished as much as I can. And then I may just try tape on it. Because I'm thinking if I just put the tape right around the edge there, and then I can do the tang with just a paintbrush or a Q-tip or something. So I think that's what I'm going to try. I think. I hope. I don't know. We're still figuring it out. But I'm going to go ahead and put the oil on the handle and finish it up as much as I can. So I oiled it up, and I think I'm just going to go with electrical tape. It's sitting on there really tight. And I'm going to try holding it instead of just letting it soak by itself. I'm going to sit here and hold it for 10-15 minutes or however long I decide to etch it. And I'm just going to try and hold it right at that line. So even if it does leak under the tape just a hair, I think we'll be alright. So wish me luck. I'll get back to you in a sec. Here we go. Alright, well there it is. The pattern did not come out as I expected. It's really cool right in through here. Oops. It's really cool right in through here because there's a ton of layers you can see, but the edges not so much, but the integrated bolsters look cool. So here we go. We're going to unwrap it and see if the tape worked or if my wood turned black. Worked. Look at that. Where are you? There you are. Look at that. Stay beautiful. So what I'll do is I'll tape along the edges here, and then just take a Q-tip or something and put a little ferric chloride right along that, and the tang will get done, and then we can finally wrap this video up and be done with it. Holy smokes, this took forever. Well, there's the final knife. The pattern, you know, didn't come out quite as bold as I was hoping for. It's still pretty dang cool. The integrated bolster part came out really nice. That was exactly how I pictured it. So I guess, you know, that's cool. I know how I screwed up the pattern, though. I was going to do a ladder pattern to bring out the pattern on the pieces that I put on their sides, and I forgot, plain and simple, until the blade was almost all the way forged, and by then it was too thin to cut the grooves in it for the ladder pattern. So lesson learned: don't be a knucklehead, and remember your steps before you start. But overall, I'm pretty dang happy with it. We did the sheath up for it, and I think that looks pretty cool too. So thank you everybody for watching. Please check out the Patreon site if you want to help out, and we'll get to more videos coming up here. I've got some more knives I've got to make. I've got a couple I've got to make for customers, which I'm probably not going to take video on, but I've got some other things that I've got to make, some bottle openers and things that people have asked for. And I like money, so I'm going to take it and I'm going to forge them, and I might run video on that. So, yeah, there's some more stuff coming up. It's all fun. I might do a karambit, and I was thinking of a kukri, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But stay tuned, and we'll get more videos as time allows. Thanks for checking this one out. And sorry it's so long, but I was trying to explain my thought process as I went along. Hopefully it helped you out.